Hello, I'm Danny.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Marvel Talk. Welcome back, everybody, to Marvel Talk. Hey, man, it's been a while. We know.
Oh, man.
Things are just crazy out there. I don't like to bring it up on podcasts, but yeah, just quarantine and all that's happening.
Oh, yeah. The Backstreet Boys reunion tour, as the Game Grumps is putting it, is on full swing right now. So if you guys have gotten tickets to the reunion tour, be safe. Keep yourself, locked up. And if you don't have tickets, don't go get them.
Yeah, so apologies for not having episodes drop when they should have. Just hope you guys are safe out there. And we're coming back with episodes, so don't worry.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to have a few, here in the very near future. Have a couple different things to talk about today, surprisingly.
Yeah, we got a good round of topics. But since we're still talking about this quarantine stuff going on, if you already know, everything's getting delayed, getting pushed back.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty much every movie, except Venom. Venom's the only thing that's stuck around this year off the Marvel docket, which I think is great.
I think Wonder Woman only got pushed back a few months as
well. I think that one's coming out in November now.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it went from June to November, which isn't too big of a jump. So fingers crossed, those can still happen. But we did get some interesting confirmations out of all these pushbacks. Couple of those unconfirmed Marvel movies that we all kind of expected to be coming out have gotten release dates.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and jump right in. What are those dates you got there, Jake?
So basically what's going on is Black Widow was the first one to get pushed back, and that got pushed back to November, which is taking Eternal's spot, and then Eternal's spot is going to take Shang-Chi's spot in February, and then Shang-Chi is going to take Doctor Strange 2's spot in May, and then Doctor Strange 2 is taking Thor 4's spot in November of next year. And then Thor 4 was set for February 28th of 2022, which means now they can start revealing some release dates for those other Marvel movies in 2022. So we got Black Panther 2 coming out on May 8th, and then 2 months later will be Captain Marvel 2 on July 8th.
Yeah, so crowded.
Yeah, so crowded. And, that's kind of out of their hands for all that stuff, but hopefully they still, they do well, I guess. I hope they're better movies than the first ones. It's more my thing.
Yeah, and then I saw Spider-Man 3 still has its July date for next year.
Yep. So, kind of makes me think that Spider-Man 3 isn't going to necessarily have too much impact on the overall phase, maybe? Hard to tell.
Well, lately, I know the back end of phase 3, it was always just, if you're looking at the timeline of, chronological, it was Black Panther came out, but, that was right after Civil War, but then that came out after Ragnarok, but Ragnarok's closer to Infinity War. They kind of had this weird shuffle going on with their films.
That's true. Yeah, they did have some flashing forward and flashing back between the movies. So, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, Spider-Man 3 is still on track to release on the same day that it was originally. So.
And speaking of one of these movies, right, Black Widow, I don't know, did you watch that final trailer we got for it before it got pushed back?
Yeah, that I don't know if it showed too much more, just more Taskmaster, I think, basically, right?
Yeah, and it showed off to what I was thinking. I didn't bring it up, but his whole power in the comics is photographic memory, right? He just sees people fight, takes it on. But here, looking at the mask and clearly on screen, the goggles specifically, makes me think the goggles is gonna show him how to fight as these people.
Oh man, you think this might be more Stark tech?
Yeah, because if you remember in Civil War, Tony had that algorithm that predicted Steve's attack pattern.
Oh god, and this happens right after Civil War, so
Yeah.
That's lame. Man, that's almost as bad as what they did to Ghost.
Oh, I get it, man. When Tony left after Steve and Bucky whooped him, he forgot to take his helmet that has that tech, and somebody picked it up.
Oh, he left it there in Sokovia. Of course. Oh, you know what? I bet you this guy, Taskmaster, is the super soldier from those tubes that survived.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
See, that's a way they could pull it around to make it cool for me again. But, damn, you're right. That's probably exactly how his powers work, and that's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was just like, they're showing that goggles too much. Like, why is the mask such a big redesign? It's like, oh, this is probably why.
Yeah, people have been saying that it's like he uses the mask to record fights so that he can look back at it later to get the photographic memory stuff. And I'm like, but that's not how his powers would work. He would just fight right there, and he'd be able to do it.
Yeah, because the shot in the trailer, it's literally him watching one of the fights from, I forget which movie, but he's looking at it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody on, I think it was on Twitter, they posted a comparison shot of like all the moves he did and all the trailers and which Avenger it relates to.
Some of them have, like, one move is getting like confused between Spider-Man and Black Panther that I've noticed, or like Captain America. Like they both do like the same like jump kick thing with both feet.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of Black Panther, yeah, we see his suit's gonna have some claws on it.
Yep. And then he's going to have the shield stuff, a la Captain America. It looks like he's going to have some of the reflexes and landing poses as Spider-Man. I don't know. We'll see how he shakes out, or she.
Yeah. I guess it should be a super soldier though. Yeah. Now that you brought it up.
It would be cool if it was that would be awesome. And that would be a great tie back. A great tie-in to go back to for the Civil War connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see how good Marvel is with that. So
yeah.
But then like we said, Morbius got pushed to March next year,
which is that's a shame, dude. Because
big shame.
I was really looking forward to Morbius, man. It's too bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we can't forget our movie that was actually going to be out by the time we're recording is New Mutants.
Freaking dude, it should have come out last week. I feel like we've this very same thing that we're saying right now we've said before. Like this feels like deja vu. Like we should have been seeing New Mutants this week. Exactly.
Yeah, I hate to see it be as cursed as the Gambit film,
Yeah. Hey, at least this one got made.
Yeah,
so we know it'll eventually get released. Like, it's got to come out somewhere eventually. Like,
yeah.
I don't think Fox and Disney would just keep that like completely under wraps forever. They'd be losing so much money. Like, just not having ever put it out.
Yeah, and it's a real shame we don't have a new date for that. They're holding on, so that really sucks.
Yeah, that one's just suspended indefinitely. Wasn't there another Disney one? I think Mulan. Is that one still suspended?
Mulan got pushed back.
Okay,
I don't know about indefinitely.
Oh, July 24th release for Mulan. Yeah. You think of next year?
This year.
This year. Oh, okay. And then Jungle Cruise got moved to next year.
Yeah, this July spot was the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
But July, we'll see, man. We'll see what's going on out there.
Yeah, we'll see if the theaters actually open back up, or if they do. That report about AMC theaters was that was a shame.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, there's a report saying that like Forbes and a couple other analysts have done some work and have found that AMC theaters after all this stuff may not come back at all. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm seeing these articles. They're saying bankruptcy is likely. Damn.
Yep. So we'll see if AMC is able to stay afloat. Fingers crossed. They are part of the Disney brand. So, even though Disney doesn't like to talk about it.
Wasn't AMC doing that ticket thing too?
What do you mean?
Like a ticket pass?
Oh yeah, they had their own kind of A-list pass where it's like you pay like $25 or $30 a month, and then you get to see like a movie every week, like a new movie.
Yeah.
So, which is it's a pretty good deal. Not too bad.
Yeah, the movie industry is gonna be interesting to see how it's gonna recover.
Movie, comic book industry, all this stuff.
Yeah. Since this is
crazy.
a Marvel podcast, right? Should talk about comics as well. They stopped printing new comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The main distributor to all the comic book stores, they just stopped printing
Diamond?
new ones. Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, they stopped. I think like last week.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, they don't have any plans of when they're gonna continue. And it's like, oh, because they don't want to ship them out, right? But you could still purchase like backlogs of other series, so it's kind of weird.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but again, for the movies, it's going to be interesting because some theaters or some studios decided, well, hey, let's just drop our movies on demand.
Yep.
Both films we're going to be talking about today were both released digitally very early.
Yes. Because I did get to also see The Invisible Man. Even though we're not going to talk about that exclusively, I did get to see it thanks to all of the new movies being released digitally, which is pretty cool. I do gotta say though, I'm a little disappointed that like these digital movies like are still being kind of sold for like $20.
Is it a rental? Is it a one-time thing? Like a rental thing or?
Yeah, it's the 2-day rental for like you basically get it for 48 hours for $20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think like Bloodshot though in particular is just purchasable. Like I think you can just buy it.
Well, there's a reason for that, I think.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Yeah. But there was some sprinkles of some news throughout. Speaking of Bloodshot, right? Vin Diesel was on his press tour before all this went down, and he nonchalantly talked about the Guardians being in Thor 4.
Yes, that was. I kind of expected that. I don't really know why I wouldn't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's something I didn't think about. Because I kept thinking of, well, is Thor going to be in Guardians 3, but I didn't think of vice versa, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe because Thor's not going to be a big focus in Thor 4, so I just never crossed my mind. But I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they got to explain how he gets back to Earth or wherever he ends up with Natalie Portman and Tessa Thompson. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering if. Yeah, I'm guessing it's just going to be like maybe 1 or 2 scenes,
Yeah, and it was confirmed that Christian Bale is the villain, I believe.
Yeah, they confirmed that. Yeah.
Yep, they haven't confirmed who he is yet. And then I think like there's rumors going around that Beta Ray Bill is going to be in the movie, like that he's going to be part of the new team of Revengers. So they're bringing that back, which is like okay.
Yeah, I mean it's Waititi, right? So I'm sure they're going to keep doing those gags.
Yeah, of course. We're going to get more of postmodern Thor. Yep. Yippee-ki-yay.
Oh yeah, I saw this from yesterday. For Guardians 3, we're gonna get more focus on Rocket, it seems.
Yeah, I think that was a big rumor way back when we were hearing about James, like before James Gunn got fired off the project. Because I think this one was supposed to focus on like Rocket finding, like going back into his backstory and finding the scientist that worked on him and stuff. I think there was even rumors that the scientist himself was going to be Mark Hamill for a minute. So who knows if that's still going to happen.
Okay.
I think that would actually work really well. like having Mark Hamill just be like a mad scientist who does crazy robot experiments on small animals and stuff. Like,
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, crazy, goofy alien scientist. Like that'd be. I think that'd be right up James Gunn's alley. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully that's what comes out of it.
Yeah. There was he was doing a quarantine watch party. A lot of directors are doing that. And, somebody asked him about
included, right?
Yeah, Zack Snyder did BVS, part of the 5th anniversary, or 4th?
Sweet.
Yeah,
I think 5th. No.
Yeah, somebody asked Gunn about if Rocket's origin is gonna be part of Volume 3, and he said, yeah, he's gonna play a big part. We're gonna see scars on his back, so yeah, we're probably more than likely gonna see his origin stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'm into that because we get. I don't know if you've played the Telltale game yet for Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I haven't.
They actually go really in depth into it in that game. And the game is pretty close to being canon with the movies. Like the looks of all the characters and stuff is like right out of the film. But it's not like directly canon. So I think it's just a way they could tell it if they wanted to. But who knows? We'll see. Yeah, if you guys haven't played that game yet, you guys should check it out. I believe on PlayStation Network it's only like $10. Like really cheap for the entire game, and it's wonderful. It's a very fun time. And like any Telltale game, there's like multiple pathways and stuff that you can go to like get different character relationships and all kinds of stuff. So
nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to peep that.
Yeah,
because I don't know if you played the Batman one from Telltale, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, I played the first chapter. I didn't get past that one though.
Oh man,
because I didn't pay for the whole thing.
Season 2 does some good stuff.
But I do have. Okay, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, because I did get it on PlayStation Plus, so I will have to give it a playthrough soon. It's not like I got anything else going on.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't think I had anything else for the news.
Yeah, I think that's about all we've gotten so far. Indiana Jones got pushed back too.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
Production wise, yep.
Okay. I mean, I know we haven't talked about it, but Uncharted got pushed back for production.
What Uncharted movie? I don't what
the one where Tom Holland said we're gonna film in 4 weeks. That one.
Oh yeah. That one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that the one that Joe Pesci was supposed to be in and Robert De Niro?
Oh gosh, yeah. Who knows?
Oh man.
Yeah.
That movie feels like the Gambit movie. I don't know.
It's gone through a lot of directors, writers, actors. Yeah. I just let it be a game. Just I was replaying the first one, and the first game I think still holds up really well. It's really fun adventure stuff, man. Yeah, no, the Uncharted series is great. All the games are good.
I think the only one I still am not a huge fan of is 4. But that's because it's just really slow at the beginning.
I like 4. I like 4. It's pretty good.
It is definitely the boomer game of the 4 of them though. It's like the old man Drake, punished Drake.
Yeah, I think 4 has the best final boss fight for sure.
I gotta play through it again or play through it at all.
Well, it's free for Plus right now.
Yep, I just put it to my library yesterday, so
nice.
I have it added, and that was what they did with the first 3 just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, Uncharted Collection. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these movies we watched. We should have done these episodes earlier, but like we said, just stuff happened.
Hey, Danny's he's going out there and he's doing the essential stuff. You know what I mean? He's our trooper of the group for right now. So
yeah, I'm not in full quarantine, so I'm doing other stuff. Yeah. But let's get into, I guess, Bloodshot first, huh?
We're family.
Oh man.
I have to say, man, I think that this script is like it's like if an AI program watched like 50 different action movies from like the early 2000s and then was told to write dialogue for a movie. Like I swear I've heard like every line of dialogue in this film somewhere else before.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
So
man.
let's get into it. When I first saw the trailers and stuff, and I was like, I was kind of like all right for it, but then I was getting more hyped as we were getting closer to the release date because I was like, oh, Bloodshot's got like that early 2000s feel, you know, like the past few movies, comic book wise, have been really great at doing that. So I'm like, oh, I'm so
like,
good.
I was hoping this was going to be like another Venom fun movie, and it almost gets there for me. It's close.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, cool. And then you find out that the director, I thought it was just video games, but it was video game trailers he's worked on.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That
so that changed it up when I got that clarified. And
like that aspect of it.
Yeah. Oh, the writer wrote Kick-Ass 2.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's the only one oh yeah, some of these films are not. Yeah.
Oh, they're not great.
There's that, I don't know if you remember this movie from 2007 called Prey, where they're in a safari in Africa, I think. And like this family gets stuck in this Jeep and there's like a pack of lions. Yeah. That wasn't
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah. But anyways, and then, you know, like some of the final trailers leading up to the premiere of the film, and I was like, oh yeah, this does have that video game element, you know, and some of the fight scenes, that looks pretty cool. And then
yeah, and there's like the respawn mechanic and stuff. So
yeah.
There's stuff to this. There are aspects of this movie that I really enjoy. This is what I'll say. There's parts.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I don't know if you ever saw it, Jake, but there was McFarlane toys. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, the McFarlane Toys figure with the accurate comic book T-shirt.
Yeah, the Vin Diesel one. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to pick. If I had seen it in person, I probably would have picked it up. But all my favorite little collectible stores are currently not open. So
yeah, the figure looks pretty good.
Yeah. If you guys if you guys collect figures, and you guys want a decent Bloodshot toy, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah, and that got me more hyped for the film because I was like, oh, well, if they're doing this, you know, they got to be doing something right for the film.
Yeah, like a Bloodshot tie-in figure. Like, come on, like,
and then plus awesome. Like the drawn poster for the film was great too.
Yeah.
But for me, after watching it, I was like, oh, you know what? This is an early 2000s film, but the wrong version of an early 2000s film.
Yeah, it's not. It's an early 2000s film that is very forgettable. Is the way I put it. Which sucks because I think this movie does have some really cool moments. But I think overall I'm not going to remember this like a year from now.
Yeah, you brought it up. The writing was, I don't think it's like the writing is, it's like very minimum effort for sure.
Well, it just feels very derivative, right? Like it feels like I've seen this movie like 6 or 7 times. And I can't really tell you which movies are like this movie, but it just feels so stereotypical of like an early 2000s film.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with this plot, right?
Oh, I'm sure there is, yeah.
Yeah, like where he gets reprogrammed like every time he comes back. I mean, this is RoboCop. Like that's what it is. This is literally RoboCop is this movie. Which isn't a problem. Like that's not a bad thing cuz RoboCop's a fine story. It's just like
but them not building up on something different or unique is what hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think stylistically the movie's pretty solid. Like I love the way it's shot. And I like the use of music and stuff throughout the thing, for like the flashback and flash forward sequences. Like I think all of that stuff is great. And Guy Pearce is awesome. I mean,
yeah, he did his acting and his character. I was like, yeah, this is a video game character. Yeah.
It was really cool to see the Mandarin in another. Like, I can't believe this is connected to the Marvel universe. Man.
Yeah, when I saw him, like, hey, that's the Mandarin. Oh, snap.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Vin Diesel this is the way I would pitch this movie is this is the most Vin Diesel movie you will ever watch, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel, I think he's a great guy. I love the Riddick series,
Oh yeah.
Fast and Furious is cool stuff, but man, there's a scene where in the beginning where it's supposed to be very emotional and serious, and just looking at his face, and I'm like, yeah, this is not your strong suit, man. I'm sorry.
Oh man, he wants to be a Shakespearean actor, but he's just not built for it, man.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Jake, but I had some trouble here and there understanding what he's trying to say because his voice is so deep and rough, and he doesn't clearly say certain words.
So did you see this on streaming, or did you see this like in theaters?
I saw this opening night, yeah, at the theater.
Oh, you saw this in theaters? Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
At home I didn't have any trouble really understanding his dialogue. Yeah, it all came across pretty clear, watching it on a home TV. So maybe it just has something to do with the bassiness of his voice. Doesn't work.
Yeah, like, that Vin Diesel voice.
Yeah. Yeah, the I am Groot. Speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I thought he did a good job. There was like 2 scenes where I felt like he was really starting to get into it. But the emotional stuff near the beginning, he was just so flat and so boring.
Rough. Yeah,
Like it's once he's I think it's a little bit later in the movie once he's starting to realize like what's going on, and that's more where I start liking his emotional side.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like once he figures out the mystery behind stuff, that kind of those scenes I think work a lot better than the earlier stuff. But I think that might be just be bad directing, because I know that Vin Diesel can pull that stuff out. Like he can do the emotional stuff when he has a good director. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like speaking of Riddick, I think it was Riddick, the first Riddick movie, and then Riddick 3. There's some technically Riddick 3. There's some good acting parts that Vin Diesel does in there for sure.
Yeah. He has moments, like
yeah.
Even in the Fast and the Furious movies, like I would still argue that he's got some pretty strong emotional beats here and there. And I think he's a pretty expressive actor, which helps. Like he can say a lot without like actually saying anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Physical acting. But yeah, no, I totally get you. This first half of this movie's rough with Vin.
Pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
I'd say let's go ahead and get into some spoilers for the movie.
Yeah. Before we do, would you recommend this to people?
Would you
tell people to go out and check this out. I might.
I mean, I think I like there's good stuff in this movie, right? I think the main thing I was looking forward to, right, was the action stuff, and I think that paid off pretty nicely.
Oh yeah, I think the action scenes are great.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like a lot of cool ideas in this movie too. That I was like, oh wow, that's interesting.
The elevator fight scene.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
That's some good stuff, man.
Well, even the last thing he does in the movie, and I was like, oh man,
yeah, very anime.
I was like, oh yeah, if there's a Bloodshot 2, we're gonna see more of that,
Yeah, which is something I'm super stoked for. Like when he goes full gray, that was the hype moment. You know what I mean? Like that was good stuff. And I loved the tunnel scene. I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
The lighting and stuff, and how they're able to mask a lot of the violent stuff and everything. Like, they did a really good job, man. The action scenes are really solid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think this movie is very creative in terms of its visuals.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Except for one scene that I want to get into.
Okay.
Visually, where I was like, oof, man, they could have done this way different.
Interesting. I'm curious what scene you're talking about.
Yeah. I did walk in the theater late, so I missed a little bit of the beginning.
Okay.
But because but I eventually saw it later down the line in the movie when they were showing certain scenes.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, I kind of figured out what happened, so I wasn't too confused.
It starts off with him in some Middle Eastern country, or whatever they're trying to have it be, with the military, and then it has the whole scene set up with the bad guy, quote unquote, the bad guy, and all that stuff. But we can get more into it when we get spoilers.
But yeah, I guess I would recommend it, especially now that it's on streaming. I mean, I would say you could probably wait for it to get cheaper, because $20 for that movie, I don't know.
Yeah, $20 is a lot right now, but once it's actually on just like Hulu or something, I think that'll be a better way to check it out. It feels like a good. This movie feels like a good, like, Saturday afternoon movie on TV.
Yeah,
like,
you
this would be a great TV movie.
You just want to relax on the couch. You got a bowl of cereal. You're flipping through the channels. FX is on. They're not, showing all the X-Men movies marathon. Instead, here's Bloodshot. You're like, oh, I'll watch this.
Yeah. Like, they break up the X-Men movie marathon with Bloodshot for one movie.
Yeah.
And Bloodshot, I think it's a very entertaining, just kind of mindless film, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it too much. It's entertaining. You got some decent acting here and there, and some pretty good action scenes. It's something you don't have to concentrate on too much. So I'd say check it out if you're into that kind of stuff, for sure.
Yeah. So without further ado, man, let's get into some spoilers for this movie.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, man, the scene where they're about to kill his wife in the beginning, and just seeing Vin Diesel's performance, quote unquote.
Oh yeah, that
was really bad.
Yeah, it's so terrible. But I think that makes sense later, though, with what he finds out about stuff, because the fact that that wasn't even his wife.
Oh, like, no, but I thought that was his wife, though.
Well, I thought that was the whole plot twist, was that they were never married.
No, the plot twist was
that they were in a relationship, but he left for the military. I thought that was the twist. Is that they've been using that image of her in his brain to completely reprogram him to believe that he was married to somebody. I thought that's what they were doing with that. So, I thought that was super interesting.
So what I really like about
that's not what it was, then that sucks.
What I really like about this movie is that when they reset him, it's not the first time they do it. They've been doing this for a good while, and I was like, that's a smart move. I think that's really cool. And then when he finds his wife. Again, which was just like he just Googled her name and used Apple Maps.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that was really easy. It's not like she's in witness protection or something. Like,
but that scene also like added a layer to that, to where like, when's the last time you saw me? And then she says 5 years, and so you have to assume like, oh man, it's been at most 5 years. Like they've been just resetting him. And I was like, man, that was pretty crazy. I don't know. I thought like they got divorced or something. But if they weren't married, that would make sense too.
Yeah. See, I had taken it that they were just in a relationship before he left for the military, because obviously she's married to like another guy
and has a daughter.
And she was, and she was convinced that he didn't die. Like she wasn't aware that he was dead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh like, yeah. The whole thing
fair. Was because there's the whole thing of like Vin Diesel says to one of the characters, like, there's people who are going to miss me out there. there's somebody who's going to know that I'm gone, right? And then he finds out that there's nobody who knows that he's gone. Mm-hmm. Because the one person he thought that would have known was his wife, and it turns out that she probably wasn't his wife. So I thought that was super interesting in terms of the plot.
Yeah, I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah.
But the going back to the beginning though, the one thing I just want to bring up is like the whole dance montage moment.
Oh my god!
With the villain, and I was like, when I saw that on the big screen, I was like, oh, this is how we're starting the movie off, huh? Okay.
But the other guy, that programmer, later, he's like, that dancing scene, did you like that? That was me.
Yeah. Oh man,
I love that it's like, it's goofy because it's so artificially made.
It's like what they did with Mysterio in Far From Home, right?
Yeah, it's exactly like Mysterio. Oh my god, Jake Gyllenhaal should have played the bad guy in this movie. Oh man. But yeah, I think all that stuff's really goofy, but I think sets the stage for the story pretty well. I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite opening scene.
It was very weird. And then just seeing like the montage of like all the other people that Bloodshot has eliminated, and then seeing the next target, that big guy with the beard, and then just seeing him do the dance too, and I was like, this is weird, man.
Yeah, like why have them all do it? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you like the New Girl guy? The guy from New Girl? Who isn't British in real life. He's American, but he does a British accent in this movie.
Oh yeah, I think what's his name? Toby Kebbell?
I think Deadshot's guy in the chair character. All those early 2000s movies need it, man.
Yeah. His name's Lamorne Morris. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not a British guy. That guy is not. He's not British.
Oh, and see his character and the first guy we see Vin Diesel kill, where I'm just like, man, they're really trying to force some like Marvel humor in this movie.
Yeah,
like those quick quips that these characters can say and try to get a laugh. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but like, oh well, you didn't watch it in theaters, but when I was in the theater, like nobody really laughed at that at those scenes.
Mean, I didn't laugh at anything in this movie except for like awkward acting. Like that that's the most I laughed at. The stuff in this movie that's supposed to be funny is very it's not the best.
One other scene to just complain about was we got the whole scene of Vin Diesel being captured, interrogated, his wife's killed, he gets shot, right? And then we have like the explanation of how he's brought back, the nanomachines and all that. We do have that fun early 2000 scene where he's like he can't sleep, so he's out boxing. He punches a hole in the punching bag. I thought that
yeah, that's great.
And then he starts punching the support beam in the building.
Yeah. The punching bag's like it's too little for him. Like his rage needs something more solid.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty fun. But when he has a drink with I forget her name in the movie.
The hot Latina lady.
Yes. She's from Alita. I
right.
To find out she was the cyborg who gets her head kicked off when Alita starts fighting.
She's the blade hand lady, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I recognize that face. And she was pretty good in this movie.
I liked her character.
Yep.
Yeah. But just so they take a shot right to in the kitchen, and then Vin Diesel starting to get all those flashbacks, and I thought
the music starts playing, like they play the song over the loudspeakers.
That too. Yeah. I was like, oh, it was interesting at first, but they kept flashing too much into the scenes we already saw instead of him reacting. Right, because like you see him like shouting and like like pounding on the countertop and stuff.
Well, yeah, you think there's the reason that they didn't cut back to him a whole lot though? Like,
because it just felt weird. I'm like, okay, they kind of put like this filter for like it's a flashback scene, but I'm like, we just saw this like 10 minutes ago. Why are we watching this entire scene again? It was choices like that in this film where I was like, yeah, this is like that's the stuff that put me down for the movie.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like some of those and that kind of stuff feels very like an early 2000s choice,
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they couldn't film as many, like maybe they just couldn't get the emotion they wanted out of Vin Diesel. So some person in editing said, "Yeah, we'll just cover up the scene a little bit with more of the flashback."
Yeah,
that'll work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to discredit Vin Diesel and his acting abilities, but maybe he just didn't quite get it.
Again, yeah, that first half of this movie was just not his strongest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say though, again, like what I like about this film is a lot of interesting stuff. One of them being that guy Tibbs, right? The other war veteran, I guess you could say, who's blind, but he's got that suit with the cameras.
His design was super fun. I really dug that a lot. I love his motorcycle suit that's got him like everywhere.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the helmet that like completely like covers his face and everything. Oh, dude. Good stuff, man. That was a super interesting idea for a character. It's too bad his buddy kills him, but that's
it was unfortunate.
That was a shame. And then I personally didn't really care at all about the other guy.
No, he was such a generic, like, asshole character.
I have robot legs. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And now I have robot arms. What a concept. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. I don't care.
I think my favorite part with those two characters is with Tibbs when they're doing the chase scene and he has the drones in the air. Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then other than that, the special effects I thought were pretty solid for the film. All the shots of Bloodshot getting just.
There's only a few places where I think Vin Diesel's face looks kind of like in the CGI at least. Mostly in the elevator fight. When they're doing full CG bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I love the girl's superpower, like her breathing deal, like her breathing apparatus thing. Yeah, super cool idea. Like she can basically survive any type of like biotoxin like thing put in the air. Like I was like, that's a fun idea. I like that.
Yeah,
and then I also liked the whole like Deus Ex vibe.
Oh, that's
the tech stuff. Yeah, the Deus Ex vibe with the tech, like it can be like shut down, by like the bad guys if they don't want you using it and this, that, and the other thing. So,
the whole Guy Pearce stuff. I was like his motives were just so generic. Of why he's targeting all these scientists to kill, and I was like, okay, it really does feel like a video game.
Was his motive just because like he helped come up with the technology, but he wanted to take full credit for it? Was that what it was? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. I don't think we get a clear answer for it. I think like I know they all either worked together or like they all were in college together or something, and then.
Because there's like a plot twist where like Vin Diesel sort of finds out that they were all scientists together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they developed the Bloodshot technology, like together, and then like Guy Pearce was the one who wanted to perfect it, maybe.
Which would make sense, right? When he targets that last Russian scientist that has the Vin Diesel's new sidekick there.
The bearded guy.
What was his name? Oh yeah, Nick Barris was the character's name. Yeah, because he knew what Vin Diesel was, and that's why he captured Wiggins, who was like this super scientist. And I gotta say, man, the EMT was cool, but the scene after when Vin Diesel wakes up and they kind of have their talk, and then he's starting to like remember like seeing the scene of like the villain dancing, but it's like different faces, and I was like the way Bloodshot learns what's been going on I was like, God, they could have done this a lot better. Especially when you have a second character who's who's pretty smart in tech. Like he could have done something to help explain to Bloodshot that like, hey man, they've been using you. Like all your memories have been fake up until this point, kind of thing.
Like it would have been interesting if they had like a scene where Wiggins like hacks into his brain and he goes, "Look, you've lived the same thing over and over again. Your brain is like a hard drive, right? And I can recover what's been on that hard drive. So let's recover it." And then they have a whole scene of him like decrypting Vin Diesel's brain through like the nanites and finding all of these murders basically that Vin Diesel's been a part of. And then Vin Diesel could have had the realization through just watching himself do this terrible stuff, like the first person view essentially. Like that would have been so interesting.
Yeah, but no, I think what this movie misses is just that extra push to get to that level.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's missing that extra level of budget. I think.
Yeah,
because this was, as far as I know, this was pretty low budget.
Yeah,
if I remember right. So maybe it has something to do with that it's just kind of like, because it's so low budget-wise, it doesn't quite have the time to be able to do it. Because this is also not a long movie. Like, this is only like an hour and 45, right?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, hour 49 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So not quite as long as your typical, like, Marvel film.
Mm-hmm. And the budget was $45 million.
Okay, so yeah, pretty low for a big budget action superhero movie.
Mm-hmm. And then the box office, I mean, it's fair to say that they can't be accurate because of the whole quarantine stuff. But the numbers I just saw was 30 million worldwide. So that's not looking too good.
No, unless a lot of people start watching this on streaming. I don't think they're going to be making another Bloodshot movie for a long time. Unless Vin Diesel just throws money at it. I don't know. That could happen too.
Look, man, if they want to make a Bloodshot 2, you got to make it connect to Venom and all that.
That's true. We got to have Valiant crossover with the Sonyverse.
Yeah, I think
it is all technically the same company.
Yeah, I mean, Sony made the movie. It'd be the smart way to do it, just to keep that character going. Because again, like I said, like a lot of cool stuff with Bloodshot in this
Could
movie.
You imagine Spider-Man fighting Bloodshot?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I would enjoy that a little bit. I think that'd be fun.
Or even have him fight Carnage for a bit, you know?
Oh, that would be super tight.
Oh no, have him show up in Blade, right? Because it's with vampires, but since he doesn't have blood, he doesn't have to worry about vampires.
Oh, that would be tight. That would be super tight. Oh man.
Oh, that'd be pretty fun. That's what I would do if I was, I guess, Kevin Feige, right?
Yeah. I think at this point, Kevin Feige's in control of that. Yeah, do it, Kevin Feige. Get Vin Diesel in your corner, man. Do it.
Yeah.
Because that would be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I have anything else to say about this movie. The ending's pretty standard, I think.
I will say I was surprised to see that KT was not, like, they didn't end up becoming a thing. Like, there was no love interest stuff going on between them.
Say that one more time.
KT, I was surprised she wasn't the new love interest, you could say, with Vin Diesel in the movie.
I think she's kind of is.
Yeah.
But they don't ever have them, like, smooch or nothing. It's more of just, like, a knowing, like, hug type deal.
Yeah, because, you know,
that would be the early 2000s trope, right? To like have her fall in love with Vin Diesel like over the course of the film. But she's doing it more out of a sense of like more moral duty, like saving Vin Diesel than anything else.
Respect and all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Very military-esque, you know, because that's also a big part of this movie is the military family stuff.
Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, the cliche is would be them kissing at the sunset.
Yeah. Because I mean, it almost leads into that, right? Because it's like you're like he wakes up in that like hospital bed in Wiggins' van or whatever they're in, and then he's like, you know, I brought you back. Well, we brought you back. She's waiting outside. And then Vin Diesel goes outside, and it's like that's like that Mission Impossible, like Tom Cruise meeting back up with the whatever love interest is of this movie moment, which kind of almost happens in this one. Like it happens in some way, but not like, you know, it's not like she's head over heels for him or anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost feels like how they ended
Venom?
Like Batman Robin. Venom?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Venom a little bit too. Yeah. Definitely feels like Venom. I think this movie takes a lot of cues from that one.
Yeah, and I think it's rightfully so, right? I mean, it's like the same type of feel, early 2000s, and Venom did so good in the box office, right?
Oh, yeah.
But yes, the final thing Bloodshot does in the movie, right, is catch that missile that Mandarin shot. I thought was pretty cool.
That Mandarin shot.
Yeah. Just the way the nano machines worked, I was like, that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, the effects of that stuff was pretty neat. It was definitely visually really cool. I like seeing it in the in the tunnel scene in particular. I think was my favorite part. Because when he gets like blasted in the face by that shotgun, and then like his whole face starts to reform on one side, and it looks like very skeletal. I'm like, that's pretty cool looking. I like that. That's neat.
And then like you said earlier, like when his skin turns gray because he's low on the nano machines, and then the red glow on his chest is like the overheating and all that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like
yeah, he's like overclocking. I was like, oh, I see those technical terms you're using there, Wiggins. That's funny. I'm a computer guy, so I say computer things.
Yeah. But I think that's really all I have to say about this movie. Overall, it was a decent movie, right?
Yeah, I think it's very okay. It's not bad. It's definitely not a bad movie by any stretch. Except maybe that first like half hour. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some awesome action scenes and don't really care about the story too much, this one's great. This is a good one, I think, to check out.
Yeah, again, just like we said, the tunnel fight scenes was good. Just the way he took people out, I was like, oh man, I felt that one.
Yeah, they make him look very, very dangerous in this movie. So they do a good job. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, good stuff. For the most part, for the better part.
Yeah. I would say this is probably 80% good stuff, and then 20% kind of middle of the road stuff.
So yeah, that's our review for Bloodshot, and let's go ahead and get into this next movie, man. A little bit of a different lane. Don't talk too much about. Well, I mean, I guess we do talk about Disney films because they own so much, but
yeah. I mean, pretty much almost any movie we talk about is a Disney movie.
Yeah.
But this one specifically is a Disney Pixar joint. Their latest one, in fact, the Onward movie.
Yeah, Onward. Starring Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. I just saw this last night, so it's fresh in my memory.
Ah, nice. Yours is nice and fresh. I saw this one a few nights back.
Okay. Did you watch this in theaters or at home?
No. I missed out on theaters. This was going to be my last movie I was going to go see before everything hit, right? And then literally the day after I was planning to see it, all of the theaters got closed down. I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
So sadly, I missed it in theaters, but I did watch it at home on streaming, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yep.
I like the all the characters I thought were great. There was some good humor in there sprinkled throughout. Not as funny as I thought it would be for a Disney film.
It doesn't quite have huge amount of laughs. I feel like there's a lot more in jokes than there should be. Maybe like they're jokes you'll understand if you're this type of person,
right?
Or like pretty specific demographics for some of the jokes.
Oh yeah, the cast was great. I thought everybody was great. I loved Chris Pratt in this role, but I could totally see Jack Black playing this character as well.
Yeah, I had heard that Jack Black was originally casted for this movie.
Oh, okay.
For whatever reason, he declined to be in it. So I thought that was a little bit of a shame. I was like, man, that's literally Jack Black, like that character. Like as much as I love Chris Pratt, like that's a Jack Black character. Like, come on.
I mean, it looks like him. It sounds like him. Even the way like Chris Pratt like is portraying the character, and I'm like, I feel like he is going for a Jack Black-esque vibe going on here.
Yeah, like it feels like they told Chris Pratt to go play Jack Black's like a PS3 video game.
Yeah, Brutal Legend.
Yeah, Brutal Legend. Like, go play that. That's your character.
Yeah.
And then Tom Holland was fine. I think his character was he just didn't really do anything for me, I guess.
It's very like generic on Disney's standpoint for this type of character, right? Like you see it so much throughout all their films.
Yeah, I would agree. Generic's the best word, I think, for Tom Holland's character in this movie. I don't even remember his name. His character's name.
It's Ian.
Okay. I don't remember him or Chris Pratt's character's name, actually. I remember the name of
character's name.
Yeah. I remember the name of the van. I know that the van's name is Guinevere. Mm-hmm. I know that part. I don't remember the mom or the dad's name. I don't remember. I know the Manticore
right. Chris Pratt was Barley. Yeah.
Oh, his name is Barley?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. I honestly don't remember anybody calling him that throughout like the whole movie. Oh man, I think this movie has that problem, that writing issue where it's like the main characters don't say each other's names anywhere near enough to remember them. Other Disney movies, like characters say each other's names like all the time, like Buzz, Woody, Marlin, Dory, Nemo. Like everybody's shouting each other's names like half the time. It's like half the dialogue, so you remember everybody. But this movie was one of those kind of modern day dialogue films where it's like, they don't need to say each other's names all the time.
Yeah. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie. There was some cool stuff in here. The magic stuff was cool. I did definitely get some, I don't know if you saw, Jake, like The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I got some vibes off of that in here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I could see that. All the emotional stuff. Like, I liked the main story of the two, of Barley and Ian, and, like, all the emotional stuff with that. Mm-hmm. But I think, like, overall, this movie left me with so many questions by the end of the film that I was just like, the main story almost didn't matter to me at that point. Just because I was so curious about so many other aspects of the world that they created and like did not flesh out at all. I guess is more my thing about it. But I think the emotional center of this movie is really solid. And it did get me to cry. It's very emotional. It's very well done. All that stuff is super solid. The voice acting is also, I think, in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's very solid. Yeah.
Obviously, the animation, top-notch Pixar, like, animation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that I think that this movie has the same problems Bright has. Do you ever see Bright?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I saw that movie.
Yeah. I think this movie has almost the same exact issues that movie had. That they're a little too timid to really go whole hog with, like, visual stuff, like visual gags of, like, what a world would actually look like with magical creatures in it that was modernized. Because I feel like this is just like the regular world, but there just happen to be magical creatures in it, which is the same thing that Bright had. Like, there was nothing that, like, nothing stylistically had been affected real world wise. Like, it was just literally our world, but magical stuff was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what this looked like, because this is just so, like, generic suburban town, like, to the point that they go to an Applebee's at part of this movie. I'm like, I know it's not an Applebee's, but it basically could be.
Yeah,
you know?
I think I appreciate at least the explanation of why the world is just our world, right? In the beginning, you know, they give their little exposition of why magic is lost in the world and all that.
Yeah,
because
which is the part that I guess that I don't buy. I don't know why you'd ever be more mystified an electrical outlet that lights up a light than a fire coming out of nowhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to just get into some minor spoiler stuff, but like they do explain it in the movie, right? Where it's just like, yeah, well, it was magic's too hard, and then, you know, they figured out how to make it easier, so they just decided, like, oh, okay, we'll just go with technology over magic because anybody can do it. It's easy.
Yeah, that's not a commentary on modern society, is it? Not at all.
I mean, I don't think so. Hold on.
My hands, man, they're feeling pretty heavy this episode.
Yeah. But I mean, there were some parts that I do appreciate it being in modern, because they play the comedy off of it pretty well. Like when they have to go to the gas station, and then we see like that biker gang of the Pixies. I thought that was pretty funny.
I just don't understand why they'd be using human motorcycles, like human-sized motorcycles. That's the only part. Like, if it was like a bunch of tiny itty-bitty motorcycles, you were supposed to buy smaller ones, but you ordered these or something. Have some other, like, thing to kind of indicate why they ended up with those. It's the same thing with the Centaur.
Oh, in the cop car, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I sort of understand the visual gag, but it would only make sense in the context of a world where, like, humans existed before this, and they're just using technology that was, like, left behind. But they're not. They're using technology made specifically for them. So why would the Centaur guy not have a car that's designed for him? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like what you just said, it's mainly just for the gag stuff.
Yeah, but I guess it's a joke that doesn't really make sense to me, because it's like, well, he wouldn't, in any other contempt universe, he probably would have a car that would fit him. Like, why would he be stuck with somebody else's patrol car? Unless, like, there's a joke they cut out of him, like, leaving the station with somebody else's vehicle and, like, not his. Like, because I guess I'm thinking about it, like, in terms of, like, think about this world compared to, like, Zootopia, right?
Yeah.
Like, Zootopia's world is so well thought out. Like, everything that every animal has at their beck and call in that universe makes sense to them as who they are, as creatures, as animals. Like, there's hamster pathways for small hamsters and rodents to go do their, like, for business jobs, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's got but then gazelles have giant cars that have way higher ceilings, and, like, there's a tiny mouse town, like, specifically for mice. But in this universe, there's, like, nothing that indicates any of that. Like it's just the human world, our world, with just magical stuff in it.
Yeah, and again, that goes to the what you said that fits perfect, like the bright problem for this movie. That totally fits.
Because it's like this, it just doesn't feel like a world that grew out of that introductory sequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that introductory sequence, I think, is really good for what happened to this world, but the world that we see past that doesn't really reflect that introduction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just the idea of the one glove fits all with technology, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It would have been more interesting if they had more of in there, I guess. Like, it could be like a single, like, company that's like making all these products that are just like anybody can use them, but not really anybody can use them because everybody's like wildly different. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think what would have added
for this movie,
what would have added a layer to that would have been maybe we could have seen some characters complain about how generic stuff is in the world, like the stepdad, right? That's the centaur. He could have complained about his police vehicle,
like something like that. Like, yeah, like little jokes like that would have been great, like for the world building. But as it stands, it's just like they go to like a normal high school.
yeah.
It's like the most normal high school I think I've ever seen in like a fantasy film. And I was like, I don't understand. Like, why is this exciting for me to watch? Like, I don't care. Like the part where it starts getting exciting for me is when they start finding like the Raven statues and stuff.
Yeah,
like once they're on the quest itself, you know, like. But then the twist of that, it just, oh man, the twist is so dumb.
Pretty predictable, right? Because right when they were coming up, like the scene of it was like, oh, Ian, you know, Holland's character, he's finally getting into this quote unquote role playing. He's starting to talk like they're playing D&D, and he's going up to this hole. And I'm like, I feel like they're about to walk into some building, and they heard him talk like that and make fun of him or something. But of course, like, oh, we're right back in front of the school. What?
And then literally the end of the movie just like happens. Like, it just like comes out of nowhere and just happens. And it's like, oh, okay, the movie's just, what?
Well, I mean, they teased it, the whole dragon bit throughout the movie.
Well, yeah, like the dragon bit, like, but I guess I would have been more interested if the dragon bit had happened, like, in the mountains, and they had to travel back into town, and the dragon followed them back into town. And then you lead to this huge, crazy, epic chase sequence. Instead, it's like, it's a scene that happens like just outside the school, like right across the street.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say they probably planned that for the gag that they did with the dragon design.
Oh yeah, for the school design. Yeah,
the mascot face. Yeah, I thought
the idea was it, Pixar. Was it worth it?
I thought the idea was cool. It was being built out of the surrounding material.
Yeah, I think that was pretty interesting. But again, like, it could have been cooler if it was like, you know, mountain rocks. Like maybe totally the skull of an animal. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have went the route of like, oh, you know, but unless if they stayed over there in the mountain areas, and then they could have come back, and everything's just back to normal. But only they know, like, no, things aren't normal anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the other part, right? Like, magic is basically rediscovered in this movie, or at least you think it is, maybe. But then, like, nobody reacts.
Yeah, that's the disappointing part for the ending of the film. Is I thought for sure we would have seen a bunch of characters start using magic, or people are trying to experiment with magic.
But instead we just see that the Manticore lady rethemes her restaurant.
Yeah, and it's not even that different from what she was doing.
It's not. Like, I was like, why are they painting through the restaurant? Like, this is exactly the same as before. And I was like, oh, the walls are made of brick.
Yeah,
now,
and there's no Chuck E. Cheese mascot, you know, it's just her walking around.
Oh, wow. Like I said, I think that the emotional beats of this movie are super duper strong, but I think that all of their world building and their detail work on this movie was piss poor, man. It's not great when I have this many questions about it, I guess, after the fact.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the strong suits for me is the emotional stuff, the whole, the journey, and then, teaching Ian magic, and then the comedic bits, I thought were solid, jokes.
Yes, I would agree. I like the concept of like half the dad, being around. I guess are we in full spoilers at this point?
Yeah, might as well be, right? Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, if you haven't if any of this spoiled you before this point, I apologize. But now I'm talking full spoilers. So I think it's interesting the dichotomy, right, of this world. Like the implication is that because magic wasn't their dad probably passed away, because they said the technology didn't even save him, right? Because he got sick for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then he Chris Pratt's character describes at some point later in the movie, their dad being hooked up to like machines and having to go through like all these doctor's visits and stuff. And I'm like, oh, so obviously this world, however long they've been using it for, science reigns supreme here. Like magic is no longer the cure-all to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then that kind of doesn't really come up again in like the whole thing. But I thought it was interesting that that's kind of like why the dad passed away. I don't know. There's some stuff there that's interesting. I think it's like fleshed out. And I also kind of wish that the dad wasn't bottom half. Kind of wish it was the top of the dad.
I don't know, man. I think the bottom half stuff, like their main stuff, was like the comedy, and I thought that fit pretty well. And
that's true, especially like the dancing scene.
Yeah, like the wholesome parts. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I guess for me, I understand like what they're trying to do is they're trying to say that like all of the things that Ian was looking for in his non-existent dad, he found like through his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get that that's like the emotional point of the story, but I would have liked at least one scene with the dad in it, like even if it was like a flashback scene near the beginning of the movie or something. Anything to give me some connection to what the dad meant to all these characters. You know what I mean? Or even don't even have flashbacks. Just have them meet people along the way that knew their dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just had the one character, right, that Ian met at Burger King, where he's like, "Oh, I knew your dad. I went to college with him." Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of those moments where I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be like a movie discover more about the dad, and maybe they find out about like his old adventure. Like maybe they were all magic users, like before technology took over." I was like, "There's so many places this story could go to like flesh out all these characters." And then it just kind of doesn't.
Yeah, we don't get a whole lot, right? Because Ian asked his mom about what dad was like, and she doesn't really give you a whole lot.
Yeah.
His brother doesn't give him a whole lot either, other than like, well, he had his own wizard name,
Yeah.
And then other than that, I think just the tape we got in the beginning that Ian talks to, to try to kind of find comfort in it. Yeah.
Yep. So, and I think I understand from a certain aspect, like why they did it the way they did to kind of put you in Ian's shoes for most of the movie, right? Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't have scenes of the dad, obviously, because you're seeing it from Ian's perspective, who never met his own dad. But I think that's why scenes having people remember the father are so important, and why it's kind of sorely missing here that we don't get those moments. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like trying to remember like another movie where like dad passes away. Well, it's not. Let's look at it like Star Wars. It's not like Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like everybody's telling Luke who his dad was throughout all these movies. And he just until he finds out for himself, like later. But like, there's a bunch of different characters who all knew who his father was. So he can get a certain sense of like what his dad was like through that. And we don't get that in this movie at all.
Yeah.
Which was a shame, in my opinion. I think that could have been.
I was surprised Ian didn't get a chance to talk to him at the end.
Yeah.
But then again, that scene was to show like how confident Ian is now in himself, right? Because now he could just do all these magic spells without ease. Or with ease.
Yeah. And it's also to show that like more the emotional stuff that like Ian was looking for was through his, like he got through his brother rather than getting through his dad. So even if he had been able to see his dad for those last 10 seconds, it wouldn't have meant as much to Ian as it probably would have to the brother's name.
Oh, Barley. Yeah.
Barley, that's his name. See, it's already out of my brain. It obviously, for an emotional payoff, it meant far more to Barley because Barley was the one who saw him before he passed away. Like he's got that Peter Quill type thing going on,
right?
Obviously. It's a reunion Peter Quill always wanted but never got in this movie. So I don't know. Like I said, I think the emotional stuff resonates super strong. I just wish there was a little bit more thought put into like the world itself. Also, like, is the Manticore just like super old, or like how long ago was she still able to go out and do all this event stuff? Like,
yeah, it wasn't really clear if that was her in the portrait or not, right? Like, I know that's the quote she put above the portrait, but was that her back in the day sling? Like, that is one thing that is kind of questionable, is whether or not, like, how fast did technology go? Like, I'm assuming it's the same, like, as it is in here in the real world,
Yeah. Because those skyscrapers in that one cityscape shot, they went up pretty fast. So I don't know. I don't know what the implication is. And then like, there's the whole, I guess my other thing is still just that like magic is back in this world, but nobody's reacting to it. Like the fairy scene, like where the fairies can fly all of a sudden again was very confusing. Like
yeah, it's when I saw that they could fly again, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe Barley is, what them going on this journey is sort of bringing back what's been lost in the world.
Yeah. Like,
but it doesn't pay off though, right? Like Ian's at school talking about this magic staff, and everyone's like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Is it ever, like, I don't understand the dichotomy of people who like and don't like magic. Because, like, in any other movie, Ian and all of his little, like, goofy-looking friends at the school would be the nerdy kid. But instead, Barley's the weird nerdy kid. Because he plays Dungeons and Dragons that's based off of their real world, like, experiences? Like you can just go to the Manticore's Tavern and it's like a real place, but it's also on a trading card. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like you could clearly tell what Disney wanted to focus on in the film, and everything else was on the back burners.
Yeah, which sucks because I feel like there's a lot of other Disney Pixar movies that have very similarly complicated setups to this, but they're explored so much more deeply. Like, I would say that the Cars universe has better, like, backstory than this movie does. Like, the world there at least makes more sense. Like, everything is geared towards working for the cars, Like, there isn't, like, human objects any place anymore. Like, it's a world for cars. But in this one, it's like, it's just the human world with magic-y stuff.
Yeah, again, I think it's just like, oh, wouldn't it be funny to see these mythical characters that you would see in, like, Lord of the Rings be stuck in this kind of world? Is probably what the main focus was,
Yeah, it was literally just an idea that somebody had in a meeting, and then it never really got fleshed out past that idea. Because I would probably have a totally different opinion of the movie if the world was as deep and fleshed out as like Zootopia, like I was saying earlier. Like Zootopia's, like the details of Zootopia's world are so important to that story and how it works that like if they had even messed up like one aspect of it, I think that movie wouldn't have worked as well. You know what I mean? But like this is the example of like if they just didn't care about the world they were creating, and it was just like a human world full of animals. I mean, even look back to like Monsters Inc. Like the way their world is constructed, the very minimal amount like view we get of it, at least in the first Monsters Inc. Makes it seem like everything is very designed specifically towards how many different types of monsters there are everywhere. And not to like human sensibilities. Like there's doors that are like really awkwardly designed. Like there's like the door for like Sully and Mike's apartment, where like there's a big one for Sully and a small one for Mike, like built into the front of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But there isn't really anything like that in this movie. Like even to the point where like the dragon pet they have is literally just a dog.
Yeah, I thought the dragon was funny.
He was cute. He was definitely cute. And I like the mom. I think the mom is a great character.
Mom was great. Yeah,
I like that she picks up a sword and like fights off stuff at the end. Good stuff.
I just gotta say the stepdad's laugh, having crack up every time. It's like a horse laugh.
Oh yeah, the neigh, like the neighing laugh. Like oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, his character was great.
Yeah, I liked that he wasn't like an evil stepdad. Like it's just a stepdad that they had to like learn to tolerate. You know, like he genuinely cared about their well-being more than anything else.
Very dad core. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Even with his bit at the end, he's like, "Oh, I don't need a car anymore," you know, and then he starts to run. Which is another one of those aspects of like, oh yeah, we're trying to go back to tradition type of thing. But again, it's not it's not everywhere in the movie, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very strange, like how they choose to have some things go traditional and some things not. I don't know. I feel like the implication of a person having a magic staff in this world would be far bigger. Which is what I thought it was going to be a little more when I was watching like the trailers and stuff, and they were being chased by police officers. Like it almost feels like a world where magic got outlawed in some ways, and if you start showing those magical tendencies again, like it's like it's not good for modern society. Like you can't just go questing. Like that's illegal. Like you can't, like that's breaking the law, you know. Like I was expecting more of like that kind of thing to it, and then they kind of don't do anything with that aspect of it at all. So I don't know how they would have fixed that.
Probably with a more serious tone on the film.
Yeah, could be, or like even I think the story would have had to be refocused, like away from. Probably would have had to been more focused on something like that wasn't as dependent on the two brothers in some ways.
Yeah, or so maybe just maybe like in the scene where they had to get gas, like have that in a very different area, like not even in the same city that they're from. And then when they try to do magic, and then that's when people are just like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And then get into that lore.
Yeah. And that was another thing about this movie. Most Pixar movies feel like they take us on pretty long journeys, right? Like we got the first and second Toy Story, like going all the way to the house next door for toys, or all the way to Al's Toy Barn. You know, that's a pretty big journey. And then you got like Finding Nemo, where they literally cross the entire ocean to find Nemo. You got Monsters Inc., which doesn't necessarily leave the factory, but you get all of those door scenes where they go to like multiple different locations all around the world. And then like Ratatouille, you even have like the journey from like his small house in the countryside all the way to France. Like humongous humongous changes in scenery and stuff for these characters.
Mm-hmm.
But in this movie, it's literally we're going right up the freeway. And they keep making a big deal about the fact that this location that they need to get to is literally right up the expressway. And I'm like, that's like the lamest Pixar journey of like any Pixar movie.
Yeah, it's just I guess at the end of the day it's a very Disney film, not a Pixar film.
Yeah, which is a shame. I definitely feel like this has, but you know, you say that, but then we had like Zootopia and Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, that's true.
Are both Disney animation, right? Like, and they've been killing it with those kinds of movies. I don't know. Maybe Pixar is just like not quite on the ball with some of their stuff anymore.
Yeah. I was watching a recent video a few months ago about Pixar and their films. Yeah, and the guy does kind of get into that. So
yeah. So I don't know. I think Onward is still really solid, and I think that the animation is still obviously really good. And I think that the story itself, like the main story, the plot of like the two brothers having to deal with this like huge loss and this opportunity to do this, and for me personally, just all of the detail oriented about the world and everything just completely takes me out of it.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, for me, I was just, I don't know. Overall, I did have an enjoyable time. I think the main aspect for me was just how good the comedy was, and just whatever parts of the journey we had, like some of that stuff was great too.
Yeah. Seeing Ian learn how to use the magic spells, like, and the fact that they were all real off of the trading cards was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the D&D aspects of this movie, very Stranger Things in that sense.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. But yeah, I think overall this isn't going to be one of the Pixar movies I go back to watch like all the time. Like I feel like this is probably going to end up on the same level for me as like Brave and Good Dinosaur, where it's like I watched it once, maybe I'll see it a second time if somebody else wants to see it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to check it out again.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Definitely, this is definitely no Ratatouille. That's for sure.
Man, that's a classic right there.
Yeah, underrated in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people don't give that movie credit.
When are we getting Ratatouille? You know?
Don't do that. Don't you say that. Pixar's gonna do it now. You put it in the universe. It's all gonna be about his sister that we never knew about.
No. Wait.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you wanted, Danny.
She does like she's from like a different restaurant.
Yes, and it's going to be about the chef girlfriend meets this little girl mouse, and they have to work together.
No, this is what's gonna happen, man. She's gonna show up, and Remy's like, "Who is this? Who can outcook me?" And then like I don't know, like they're having an argument, and then his dad could show up, and then has a sniff, and it's like, "Oh my God, this is your sister. I thought she was gone with your mother or whatever."
We thought she died when we all had to escape that house, but she's alive. And then Remy goes, "No, I have her."
Yeah.
But her taste is for like all Cajun food.
Yeah,
she doesn't do French.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh my God. Terrible. Stop making sequels, Pixar. Make new movies. Make new movies, please. I mean, this was a good new movie. This was a good new one. Just
yeah.
This could be one that I could see getting a sequel. I would be okay seeing a sequel to Onward. I think that would be pretty fun because then maybe they could flesh out a little bit more of the world and stuff.
Yeah, because I think with this movie being so focused on just, we have to go get dad back, right? That's where you lose a lot of the stuff that you want in the movie for sure. So I think for a sequel, it has to go with something that'll really focus on the world development, like actually get like a evil sorceress or something. Like bring somebody that wants to return the world the way it was, without technology.
Yeah. Have like a bad guy like How to Dragon.
Yeah,
where it's a guy who doesn't believe in taming dragons. He only believes in capturing, using. Like, I only believe in using magic for power. And then Ian's like the character that's like, no, magic is used for good things.
Yeah, just copy How to Train Your Dragon 2. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they did it right and you guys didn't do it as well. That's, it's not bad.
Yeah. So I think that's all I have to say for Onward. I do recommend you should check it out.
Oh yeah, I think that this is definitely better than the worst Pixar stuff that's out there. Like you could do worse if you're watching a Pixar movie. So I would recommend seeing this at least once, especially if you have good relationships with your dad or your brothers or your siblings in general. Like this is a very sibling oriented kind of film, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So hits those emotional beats really strong. Just wish it had a little bit more of that world building. So that's how I feel about it. But still a good watch. Still entertaining. And sadly, I think this is another one of those movies that's gonna get like a pretty big box office bomb.
Which I think is fine. I think Disney knew that, which is why it's on Disney Plus already. They could have had it on demand for a lot longer if they wanted to.
That's a testament to how they feel about the quality of the film. Because I mean, if this was like peak Pixar, right? Like if this was like a Toy Story or like a Finding Nemo, like they would have kept this on streaming, like on demand for much longer, I think.
I mean, I think it's a pretty big movie. You have two big leads, right? Chris Pratt, Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So
it just feels kind of like they didn't advertise this one as much as they could have.
Yeah, I don't really remember seeing a whole lot of stuff on my feeds about Onward.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe there's multiple factors going into it. But either way, I would say check it out if you're interested.
Yeah. So with that, I think it's going to bring us to a close on this episode.
Yeah, we got some good Marvel talking in today, man. We got some Disney talk. No DC talk this time. No DC news other than Wonder Woman getting pushed back. But
yeah, other than that, and we're going to be trying to get you some episodes that we've been meaning to do.
So I think it's finally time for some Star Wars talk.
Yeah, Star Wars talk definitely needs to come in. We got a few episodes for that for sure.
Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know you want to talk about it. I still need to watch that version of Spider-Man 3.
Yes, watch the editor's cut. I'm just going to throw it out here right now. If you guys haven't seen the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3 and you still think that's a bad movie, just check that cut of it out first and then come back to me with it, because I personally think that editor's cut fixes almost all the problems that movie had. So that's just how I feel about it, though. But we can talk more about that in a future installment.
Yes. So until we get to that episode, Jake, where can we find you in the meantime?
You guys can find me anywhere on the internet at Corruption Cosplay with K's. Yeah. So hopefully new cosplay stuff in the future. Right now it's just a lot of backlog pictures for obvious reasons. And how about you, Danny? Where can they find you?
As always, you can find me at Negator7 anywhere on social media. You can go to our other podcast, Unversed Podcast. We're doing a new segment for a new anime. That's Tower of God. It's a new weekly show we're doing over there if you're interested and if you're watching that as well.
I don't know if we'll do it here or if maybe you guys want to get me on a guest over on Unversed or something, but I would love to do an episode on the latest season of My Hero Academia, which just finished this past week. What a finale. Endeavor, my boy, coming out strong. Hawks being super cool. Oh, dude, great last episode.
So it ended with his fight, right?
Yes. It ended with the fight. And it ended with his hand held high in the air. And then spoilers, just, little quick My Hero talk right here at the end. So you know how in the movie they show Midoriya, like seeing back through all of the past evolutions or whatever? Like 9 sees all the other, like, heroes who have had all for one, or one for all, right?
Yes.
There's a moment at the end of this last episode that's the tease for next season, where it's Midoriya sleeping in bed, and he has a nightmare about One for All, the original guy who had it, the brother of All for One, fighting with All for One. And they show the whole line of heroes in that shot. And I was like, oh, there's so many heroes! Oh! And then Midoriya is, like, fully grown in this part. Like, he's an adult. But they have his body covered with, like, green misty stuff, so you can't tell what he looks like yet.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. And season 5 did get confirmed, right?
Yep.
I will say, look out for that Endeavor content coming up. It's real good.
Ooh, I'm excited. I feel like Endeavor's story might be tragic.
Yeah,
forward.
I hope, since we're talking My Hero real quick, I hope they do season 5 pretty well, because it does kind of get into a dip, like a low dip here, moving forward until, like, the next big arc. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what this season felt like, too. It feels like every season kind of does that. So
yeah, well, because I mean, after they fight, Overhaul, it's like, oh man, how are you gonna get above that? And they do some interesting stuff later down the line. That's like mainly build up, and then where it is in the manga right now, it's getting intense.
Dang. Ooh. Hopefully they condense down some of the manga maybe for the anime, for some of these slow points. I don't know if that's possible with the way the story is being told, but
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I could obviously see a season 6 for this show.
Oh yeah, I could see this show going pretty far. And man, I don't believe the creators' comments about Heroes Rising being non-canon, because there's so much stuff now that's in that movie that's canon. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he was fibbing. Maybe it's kind of like, no, that guy in Star Trek Into Darkness isn't Khan.
Oh.
Benedict Cumberbatch isn't playing Khan. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Who
man.
knows?
It's Heroes Rising. It's I mean, it's like what he said in his interviews, to where, like, it was planned to be the ending for the series, but he decided not to go with it, but he still wanted to do something with it, so I guess that's where the movie comes in.
Yeah, that stuff makes sense. But I don't think that means it's necessarily completely on-canon. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, they could always pull back from it. I mean, like, the first movie's canon, but we haven't seen that, I forget her name, but the new character that was in the movie, she has yet to show up in the manga.
Yeah, like the assistant lady or whatever.
Yeah, I think the daughter.
Yeah.
The daughter, right?
Yeah, the daughter character. Yeah. And then we haven't seen, obviously, that guy come back. Or did he die in the movie? I can't remember.
I don't think he died, no.
No, yeah, the scientist guy that makes All Might's, like, armor and suits and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't die. He's still around somewhere.
I could see them coming up eventually,
Yeah, it would be pretty cool for them to bring back some of those movie characters. I wouldn't mind seeing Chimera come back in the main show.
Man, if they could pull him from Heroes Rising, yeah.
Because Chimera was arguably the best part of that whole movie. The fact that he can light his own cigars just by putting them in his mouth.
is good stuff.
That's some solid superhero cheese, man. I love that. But yeah, that new My Hero season, I definitely want to do a full talk on the whole season, because I think that everything with Chisaki and all that stuff is really good. I think Gentle Criminals, whatever, but he has a good ending. So
the ending,
so far,
the ending's the strong point for that. Yeah.
Yes, definitely the best part of that little arc, that little mini arc. And man, I gotta say, I actually really liked the band episode, where they're all performing and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was a fun time. Other people I've talked to have said it's super fillery and really lame, and I'm like, nah, I liked it. The moment where Eri smiles and you see Chisaki's like shadow disappear. That's good stuff, man.
Good wholesome stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that got me a little bit. I was like, oh yeah, this is that happy we need before everything goes bad. Pretty good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. If you ain't watching My Hero yet, you should be. That's PSA. Just throwing it out there. It's all available on Hulu. Go watch it.
So now with that, we shall end the show here. Remember, that's MarvelTalkCast on Instagram if you want to follow us on social media. Let you know when episodes drop. And then MarvelTalkPodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, we'd love to hear your thoughts about My Hero, Bloodshot, Onward, all that great content.
Yep. And hey, if you guys have ideas for stuff for maybe us to watch, that you guys are watching right now, let us know. I know that I have a lot of free time, right? So yeah, send us some messages, send us some suggestions. And who knows? Maybe we'll talk about them.
Yeah, man, because, again, there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have any new Marvel to talk about, so maybe we'll talk about some old ones soon. Who knows? It'd be kind of fun to do some
we'll try to switch it up here on how these episodes are going to go. So that should be fun.
Yeah. And I did just rewatch episode 3, like Star Wars episode 3.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah.
It would be kind of fun to revisit some of that stuff, man.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get back to the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man, they're all on Disney Plus, so, and they look great on Disney Plus. By the way, the HD versions of those movies, beautiful.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to hop on that.
Episode 3, ooh, that looks so good, dude. The CGI in that movie holds up. I will.
Oh yeah.
Holds up like nobody's business, dude. Kind of makes me want to go back and watch episode 2 just to see the giant battle scenes and how those look in HD. But we'll see. But I guess for now, that's it.
Yeah, we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. See what's going on with all that scheduling.
Yep.
So thanks as always for listening, and until next time.
Stand 6 feet apart. No. Stay Avengers strong.